Hi, my name is Jeremy Kiefer, and why I believe in God is kind of goes with my story. And it's a story of the expectations of the world and chasing the expectations of the world or trying to live up to them and meeting dead ends and humility along the way. When I was a kid in high school, grew up in a family that was a believing family, no divorce in my family. I was raised to know the truth about God, but I was always skeptical and I was obsessed with sports. I played basketball. That left me in a different position with people in my church. I was an outsider. In my youth group, I was somebody who was skeptical. I was experiencing different things than my peers, and it kind of put me on the outs. Leading into college with that, those doubts led to behaviors, led to me getting in trouble, you name it, and chasing accolades and things that the world said were good. The failure of realizing I wasn't going to be an NBA player and that I was just a basic Division III basketball player was the first humbling step. Met my wife my senior year of college and started dating. Knew from my childhood that I wanted to be an example like my father and my mother were in the faith, but didn't really know how. Felt like I had chased all the things of the world and didn't know how to get back to the faith. So now I was coming back to the church and was an outsider again, feeling like I wasn't good enough, feeling like I could not be redeemed, feeling like I had done things that everybody around me wouldn't forgive me for. And it was immaturity on my part. Fast forward, my wife and I get married. I'm still regularly attending the church. I've been baptized and I'm giving my life to Christ. I'm doing everything that I'm supposed to be doing. I'm excelling in my career. But my wife and I, 3 years into our marriage, experience infertility. And now the world is telling me that the next step for me is to be a father and to be the head of the household. That's the next career ladder. That's the next thing that I need to accept. And we meet in front of the doctor, and the doctor tells us that my wife and I have what's called unexplained infertility. So basically the world had no answers for what my wife and I were going through. Fast forward, we went through years of treatment. I saw my wife soldier on to be a mother and go through things, with her body physically that a lot of people can't comprehend, and you can't really comprehend unless you're going through that. And during that time, I was questioning, my skepticism was at a fever pitch, and I was mad at the world. I looked at people and saw what I didn't have, and everything was a reminder that I wasn't the man that the world said I should be. And there was emptiness, there was frustration, anxiety, you name it. Randomly on a work day, received a call from my wife after years of trying that she was pregnant. We joke about my daughter that she's the Immaculate Conception. It was an amazing blessing on my life, and I was so thankful to the Lord. But when my daughter was born, again, expectations of the world, I thought having a child would be this amazing blessing, and she cried that first night, and all I heard was fever-pitch screaming, and I didn't feel the love that I felt for her, and I went through a battle with anxiety. I was 29 years old, had what I had been praying for years. At all this time I'm developing in my faith, and here I am again hitting the floor and being humbled, feeling not equipped to be a father. Fast forward, I get through that. My daughter is 1 year old. We're continuing to be involved in the church, and a calling on my life that I had been praying through to be a foster parent, to take what was something that was tragic for us and turn it into something that is a blessing, that is kingdom work. God put me through that, looking at people, seeing kids differently, seeing parents differently, seeing circumstances differently, and I felt like I really saw people like Jesus saw people. And we went through training, and within 6 months we were certified to be foster parents. We originally had the intention of doing foster to adopt. Our first call was 2 days before COVID, and it was for an emergency placement, which is, again, my plan, world expectations. I'm doing this noble act, and God had a different thing in mind for us. And so we ended up taking 2 girls that were traumatized, physically, sexually, you name it, and we brought them into our home, and 2 days later the world shut down. Again, went through this wrestling with God. And as I look back, the question of why I believe in God, I had an expectation of how my life would go, and I was trying to live up to the world's standards of success and live up to unrealistic expectations. And meanwhile, all along, God was refining me and humbling me and showing me that He had a different plan than mine and that His plan was greater than mine. We had those girls for 7 months in our home, and a lot of growth happened during that, a lot of blessings. God showed up in so many ways, from people that came into our life, from people that randomly blessed us, from people that saw us crying at the playground about fears that we had with the girls, to people that had been through the foster experience pouring into our lives. God brought so many tangible examples through that time. I joke with people that foster care has shown me a way to love people like Jesus loves people. And that goes for both the parents that are involved in foster care, the workers that are involved in foster care, and the kids themselves. Situations that I didn't even think were possible for me to be involved with, God has given me strength to stand up on my own through those situations. We now have an adopted son who his story is one that only God can put together. And we also have a foster daughter who's 1 year old. And, all along when we went through our journey, we envisioned our family being this large family because that's what I was raised in. So God answered my prayers for a large family, but in a way so radically different than anything that I could expect. And what I've learned is that God is grace, and that anybody, regardless of their background, their skill set, what they've done, mistakes that they've made, God can use that person in amazing ways. And He's done that with my wife and I. It's those putting the puzzles together and using broken people that is why I believe in God.
Hi guys, my name is Brock. Thank you for watching that video. Encounter Church of Palmyra is a church family right here in Palmyra, Pennsylvania. We want to invite you to come here. We want to invite you to bring your entire story and your whole family to this church, to ask your questions and to find a relationship with God and the church family itself. So I invite you to come. I would love to see you. Thank you.